Wasn't she Irish?
Wasn't she Irish or something? The chick on...
To be honest with you, I don't remember. I think I've blacked out.
No,
but there were some episodes that were really good. My mom loved.
Oh, no. My grandparents, the ones I brought up earlier off camera, they loved that show. What was really funny is the show that the one episode we watched as a family had some, like, sex work happening in it. And, like, of course, like, and they were so uncomfortable. And it was really great. And, like, sometimes I just meet with these men and I just have sex with them. Like, one of the people... And I could see... the smoke and like the
right,
coming out of them, and I'm just like,
my granddaughter's gonna become a prostitute because we showed her touched by an angel.
And believe me, I was touched by an angel.
I've been touched by several angels.
Okay, so
I would like to procure the bag.
I wanna be a rich bitch, penthouse doorman, money, rich bitch. Hey, give me that bag, rich bitch.
Yes, you're so rich.
Pay me.
Hi, welcome back to I Want to Be a Rich Bitch Potty. I'm Edward Miskie.
I'm Sarah Seeds.
And here we are again on our own.
On our own? Do we do this with not on our own?
Going down the only road I've ever known.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, we're on the same page.
We're okay.
We love that journey.
We love that for us.
Sarah.
Yeah, hey.
How have you been a rich bitch?
Gosh, let's think. It's been so long since I've been asked this question. Let's
you
see.
Okay?
No, I'm not okay. How have I been a rich biatch? Well, I have been taking time to meditate because I'm usually like I never stop.
Familiar with that.
I am related to a man named David Seeds, and that's my dad. And he also never stops. I know where this came from.
Yeah.
It's a lot. He just had 3 stints put in his heart, and he's shopping, and it's 2 days later, and he's at the grocery store. He's like, I'm fine.
I mean, that's also kind of a nod to modern medicine and how like it's not really that big of a deal anymore.
Yes.
Heart almost explode. Cool. You can be out of the hospital in days.
He's like, no, truly, like he was out, and he feels better than he even did when he went in, which makes sense. But
well, they opened his entire heart up.
Yeah, it's really crazy what they do.
It's amazing when you have a functioning
They went
organ.
through a little. Sorry, if it's triggering. They went through a little tiny slit in his wrists and went right in his heart like that. They didn't. There's not even there's like 2 stitches. It's wild what they do. Anyway. That is to say, my father's surgery and then him being able to just like do what he wants and he's been retired since like 2020. Like literally he was retiring then. It's not like the pandemic made him retire. He just was like, all right, just kind of worked out, didn't it? Timeline wise, let's go. And he just kind of golfs, he's out in the hot tub. He smokes cigars, maybe not as much anymore, sir. Please, I'm asking you. And doesn't eat much red meat anymore, but he is living his best life. And I think a lot of that comes from taking the time to be present and meditating and not just going from A to B all the time, Yes. And I've been very conscientious of that. I've been purposely saying like, I need to not talk to anyone for like a couple hours. And I just want to like listen to the music I want to listen to, maybe journal, maybe just breathe. And just so many things come to you when you take the time for yourself, like ideas, right? Or like when you're not pressured and be like, I got to come up with this, or I got to do this, I got to do that. All of a sudden, just things just float into your brain. Like you'll be in the shower and you're like, whoa, love that idea. So I've started to meditate way more, and it's really made a difference in my life. Like I'm not really stressed out by extremely stressful things.
I miss that actually. Not meditation per se, but like I think for me, my meditative state was like always on a treadmill or an elliptical or like even lifting when I was doing that a lot.
Yeah.
When I was doing that a lot.
Yeah. I can't lift. I don't know what to lift. I don't even know what I do.
But that was always like my meditative state where I would kind of become more introverted into myself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I would just have ideas. And I used to have a note on my phone in the notes application that was just ideas that I would have at the gym. And I don't know if I've ever really done anything with them, but it is kind of how I came up with baritone when I did that way back in the day. That was a gym idea.
Yeah.
That I was like, wouldn't it be funny if...
Yeah, baritone. What is baritone? Tell the audience.
For those of you who are not familiar with my body of work, or my body,
or your body,
baritone was a trio. It was a concert cabaret that we toured. I toured with the people, my friend Dan Pardo, who's a brilliant orchestrator
so
and piano player and everything. And
talented.
Like, there are not enough words that are associated with the word talent to describe Dan Pardo. I love him so much. He and I put this together. It was a bunch of tall, burly, bearded, baritone men.
Big baritone.
Singing the catalog of Broadway's leading ladies. And we would have mashups and medleys and duets, and it was so much fun. It was so camp and
He's
ridiculous.
telling me this, like, but I'm so excited because I've seen footage now.
She does.
So much
Sarah's
footage.
aware.
I am, but I love that you're like, I love that idea.
That was a gym idea. It was a lot of fun.
That's Dr. Seeds was a train idea, probably. Let's be real. But like all the ideas that we come up with.
That's another time too, when you're on the train and you're just like disassociating because like commuting is terrible.
Yeah. And there's like one guy like about to tell you about Jesus and you're like, can I just please? And this woman's like, candy? I'm like,
oh my God, they're
someone kicks you in the face.
Well, I mean, you know what? I would take candy and,
of course, anytime.
And tell me about Jesus against it's showtime.
Oh, man.
God
sometimes
love him.
I love it.
God love him.
But I have to be in the right mood.
I don't miss those guys. I don't miss the mariachi bands.
Damn.
I don't miss the mariachi bands at 7 in the morning.
Okay,
like,
canceled. Okay. Let's
I'm fine with the mariachi band, not at 7 in the morning.
Okay, no.
Know your
right.
audience.
I don't have fun with anything at 7 in the morning.
Right.
Nonetheless,
even the people on the train that like play music without a speaker or headphones.
Now that I will not. I will
fantasize.
I will not allow.
I fantasize. To see me in a commute situation.
Okay.
I am stone faced, disassociated. I'm not even in my body.
Yeah, no.
But when I hear shit like that,
yeah,
I am thinking about taking that person's phone and throwing it out of the train.
Yeah.
I am personally manifesting iPhone destruction at that time. I can't. Yeah. I don't care what time of day it is.
Yeah, no, that's just like
I don't want to hear afternoon. I don't care what you're listening
music out of
to.
your bad speaker.
Or when people are doing it and they're watching a television show.
For everyone else to like be part of.
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care.
I don't want to listen to it.
I used to have this fantasy too about that where I did this one time and then I was like, I should just do this. And then I was like, no, I don't want to get stabbed. So
I was going to say
I had an extra pair of headphones that were cheap, shitty ones. And I was like, here, you obviously need these, and just gave them to somebody. So yeah, I'm the problem. It's me.
No, but you've done the second fantasy I've done where it's like, do you need headphones? Here.
Take a hint, please. Anyway, now if you're financially unable to purchase those, and like I'm not trying to slam you for that,
which is why I'm giving them to you.
But also, please don't play your music then on the train, though. Still, that doesn't really excuse that.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, hardline. And we got out of my meditation. Anyway, how are you being a rich bitch?
How am I being a rich bitch? Well, I'm being a rich bitch. By,
do we know?
Plotting and planning.
Okay.
We're kind of in like a stasis at the moment where like there's a lot of flux happening with the job. Obviously I'm transitioning into a permanent position and there's a lot of paperwork that's associated with that. So I'm doing all that.
Yeah.
And just kind of like future budgeting myself, like very literally rich bitch budgeting.
Yes.
Because like there's a gym near my office that I want to join so that I can get my ass up at 5 in the morning and get on the train, like not futz around the apartment, get on the train, go to the gym, do the thing,
and like and
get back to our meditative state where I have good ideas at the gym, on the treadmill or elliptical or while I'm lifting, because I miss doing that. And I think it has taken this new next level of stability for me to realize like maybe how much I was being handcuffed by like stress and depression.
Yeah.
Where I didn't feel like I could go anywhere, do anything, let alone go work out at a gym.
Yeah, no.
That I'm paying for. Canceling. But yeah, so that's kind of literally being rich. Bitch territory is literally budgeting.
Yeah.
For the future.
Yeah.
Because I know when I'm getting my first big fat paycheck from this situation.
Love.
And so I'm kind of planning like, where's that going? How am I dealing with this? How much is going into 401k? How much is going to the IRA? All of which are new things for me. The IRA not so much, but we're garbage with that. So yeah, mine is very, very much rooted in actual real money.
Good. Mine's play money.
Not mad about
Mine's
it.
mind money. Mind.
I mean, really at the end of the day, it's all monopoly money.
But it all correlates. Like we talk about that on this podcast. Like we're not just talking about financial, we're talking about how like to get yourself in a good financial position, you have to be in the right headspace as well.
Yeah.
Because it's a cycle. It's like, that's why they say poverty is a cycle, or like depression. It all keeps you down. We need to elevate ourselves.
For real.
Yeah. That's what we're here to do.
That's what we're here to do.
I don't even know when we started. I'm looking at the timer and I don't even know. But it is Okay, good. We have 7:47 on the dot. Anyway.
It doesn't matter what time it is.
It doesn't matter.
It's all good. It's all good.
Potty time.
So, like, what have you been doing? What are you up to, Sarah?
Well, I feel...
You're right in the middle of film world.
Yes, I am.
And you're right about to start filming.
Yes. And then I'll be done. And that's crazy to think because we've been rehearsing and really going at it. It's been wonderful. Yeah. It's been wonderful. It's tiring and it's all the good. It's the good tired, right? Yeah. It's like when you do something you really love, like working out even, like you feel good afterwards. You're just
it's
like,
a sense of accomplishment.
It is.
I did something.
It is. And like that's happening. And then I'm really excited for this podcast, of course. And then I'm getting all the materials together for the 3 things I have in post, which it's just past. The FX person is hired now. So for the diner pilot, we're in that stage. The score is pretty much, I think, done for my other movie that's like a sinister horror, creepy, but not slashy horror, like sinister horror, like, and then we're near the tail end, honestly, of the other movie. So it's just getting all those things done, and then auditioning. Whew. Bless
you have
my
been bogged
people.
Down, man.
Yeah, they're dope as hell. Every day I'm like, what time do I need this in? And it's really been awesome. It's really been awesome to flex that muscle, I think I got ready for it, though, in the pandemia of it all by doing TIAS, the International Acting Studio. And I think it got me ready to be on camera, and do a self-tape setup because we're on Zoom during the pandemic. And I got so used to being able to really emote to a person on a screen. Yeah. Or really emote to someone maybe over here in the room as opposed to like dead-eyed staring at somebody. Right. Like someone who's not there. Right.
Flexing that muscle so when it's actually happening, it's easier.
Yeah, and I've gotten a lot of really great feedback on all my auditions. Like, usually don't get feedback, and if sometimes, you're just like, hope I did good. I hope I get it. And then you are like, oh, I got a call back. Great. Obviously, they like something. Don't know what it is, but they liked it. That's the problem with self-tapes is you just don't know. Yeah. But sometimes I'll get feedback. But like, wow, like we are so shocked you like memorized all that. And in my head, I'm like, I didn't. It's on my computer. But self-tapes are iconic.
They truly are. One of my favorite interviews of all time talks about this. It's on Las Culturistas with Betty Gilpin. Betty Gilpin is a fucking icon.
That's high.
And she talks about this. And this was back in like 2018, 2019, when like the idea of a self-tape was kind of like a one-off that you would sometimes get. But she was talking about how she sets her camera up on the windowsill and she tapes her sides on either side of the camera, and how like the natural light just like blows out like years of aging and like and whatever.
What an
and
icon.
Everyone was like, oh my God. And in my head, I was like, I do that.
Yeah, duh.
I do that.
Yeah.
And it's just one of my favorite. I used to listen to that interview multiple times a week.
I love Betty.
Because it's so good. Everybody go listen to Las Culturistas featuring Betty Gilpin from 2019. After you listen to
season 1 of this podcast.
After you listen to season 1 of I Want to Have a Rich Bitch.
Season 1.
It's so iconic and it's so good, and she gives so many great industry tips. But that is my first clocking of how to look memorized without being memorized.
Well, and the thing is like, so to people at home that are not actors or haven't had to do this, it's not that we want to be lazy. It's literally that
it's a time thing.
It's a time. You'll literally get sides that are like very long and very emotionally gripping. And if you do all the character work, like what is my objective of the scene? What was my objective for the entire film?
Right.
What are my inner objects? Who am I bringing into this character that I have in my real life that I'm able to see that? What has happened in my real life that is another time where I felt, let's say in the scene I'm powerless, where I felt powerless, right? I can go back in my archives and get there. Yeah. You do the work. You do all the work. And it really shows on camera. What doesn't show is if you memorize the lines or not. Unless you're like Stumble McGee, you just have to do it in a way that makes you work. Now, sometimes I just have them memorized. It just happens. But sometimes with longer ones, it's very hard to do.
It's hard. Yeah.
Yeah. Just make it look effortless.
I love that.
Yeah. Well, what have you been up to?
Well, I mean, I had a standout, stellar meeting with our producer that shall not be named just yet. The other night.
I unfortunately was not there. I missed it because I was at the reading.
But it was iconic. And we kind of have decided, as I told you earlier, that we're going to like cross genre.
Yes, I love this. I love this.
Yeah, this like book adaptation to TV thing for my book, Cancer, Musical Theater, and Other Chronic Illnesses. Please go buy it.
Wait, Where can they buy it?
You can buy it at the Drama Bookshop in New York City.
Yeah.
You can also buy it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, all the other places. Anyway, so that's being adapted for television. We have a producer attached. We're
Iconic.
so excited. The direction this is going in is the best. And that is, I think, other than like getting this going, that is my shining moment for this week for sure.
Oh yeah.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I'm really into this. And honestly, when we talked about, we're not going to get into it, but when we talked about the kind of direction it's going, that's so right up my alley. It's like, wow.
It's like off the wall.
I should not go more
hilarious. Yeah, actually, you're uninvited.
Actually, I'm out.
You're uninvited.
And for those reasons, I'm out.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that was iconic.
That's great. But also, like, I think it's so important to make your own things. I literally, before we started filming, was texting with a friend who's an actor who's like having kind of a hard time. You know, they're an actor, they've done stand-in, they do background, and they're having a really hard time. And I every time I've spoken to this person in the recent past, I'm like, well, use this time to write your own thing, to make your own idea. Do
your own stuff.
Even
you
if
can
it's
do it
just,
for nothing.
For nothing. Even if it's just like an outline of an idea and you want to like call a friend over and shoot it on your iPhone and fuck around and like do it, like that's doing something. That's being proactive. It's making something. And again, like we were talking about earlier, it flexes a muscle that like you don't always get to flex if you're constantly auditioning or constantly applying for jobs or constantly looking for work. It's like a special little thing, and it doesn't have to be content that you put out there.
No.
Like I think that's also a big misconception that people just think every single thing that you shoot, that you do, that you make, that you create has to see the light of day, has to be perfect, or has to be put on a public forum, and it just doesn't.
It really doesn't. It can
There's
be
stuff
for you.
I've made that are in my drafts and are on my phone and my computer that will never see the light of day until maybe later, and I decide to like crack open the safe. But there's so much value in just doing it.
Yes.
Like I remember during original Shutdown, the OG. Yeah,
the OG of it all.
We're an OG.
FPND.
There is this song by ABBA that was a B-side that was never released in the US that my friend Greg, 15 years prior, said to me, you should cover this song.
Wow.
And I never did it. And so for Pandyland, I did. I found like a little track of it. I fucked around with it a little bit.
Yeah.
And did a ton of vocals over top of it. And then I just decided, I'm going to shoot a music video for this. And I did it in my apartment on my iPhone. Over the course of 2 months.
Yeah.
There's scenes that are shot from above that are in my bathtub that's filled with water and I'm in full costume, and like I did a split screen where there's 5 of me on camera.
Wow.
And like this was not just like a learning curve, but it was also creativity that was happening in such a dead zone.
Yes.
And like, yes, I did put that online, and yes, it got a ton of views. Good. But like it was beyond that, it was so fulfilling to start that beginning to end. And just making something.
Right. That's why when in deep lockdown, when I was like trying to figure out what to do and I started my pitch deck business, but also me and Dorian were live streaming video games and we made some sketches, one of which I showed you. It's not DiGiorno, it's depression. But one of my favorite ones. But anyway, like that's what I mean. Like we didn't have to make that, and we made other ones too that we never put out. But like it's just really fun.
Do something.
Do something. It makes you feel, because once you do something, it starts to, like an avalanche starts. Well, like it's starting to happen for you.
Back to the meditation thing.
Yes.
It's kind of like that sense of accomplishment of like, I've done the meditation today, or I've gone to the gym today, or I've created something today that's for me. And there is nothing that will replace that. However, I do understand like the impulse for everything I create has to be put out there, because we're all, especially for artists.
We're told that.
Well, yes, but also especially for artists and creators and writers, because we want to have like a catalog of things that we can say, hey, look what I've done. This is my body of work. Yeah. Because this industry is so risk averse, like they don't want to take chances on a nobody. Like I feel so ass out in our scenario with our producer Boo Boo. Yeah. Because like you said, I've never done anything like this to this scale before. And I am like battling the voice inside my head that's like, what is even the point here? I've never done anything. I have nothing to show for this.
That's everyone started like that.
Totally. And so it's just like, I think there's a level of
Imposter syndrome?
Yes, but I think there's also a level of ego and self-need that has to take over.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I would just sit in a corner rocking back and forth being like, I've done nothing. I'm nobody. Why would I ever do this? With the audacity of it all.
Yeah, as we have we're so sad.
We're so shy.
Yeah, we're so shy. But I get it. Everyone gets it.
Yes. And also I think we're now starting to see the industry lean in a direction that is more willing to take risks on smaller people.
Yes.
We just saw Cord Jefferson at the Oscars make this wonderful speech about how the industry is risk averse.
Yeah.
And that we as a creative body that are not the executives and the powers that be want to see good stories and would rather see 10, $20 million movies than one $200 million movie.
That's just product placement and schlock.
$10 million movies.
Yeah.
Or $201 million movies.
It's a lot of math. I don't know. I'm like,
but you know what I mean?
That.
And we as like the indie makers have been saying this forever.
Literally.
But now we have someone like Cord Jefferson who's created nothing before. This is his first directorial endeavor, and he won an Oscar for it.
Which is iconic.
And so I hope that kind of opens maybe not a floodgate, but like a little trickle of like breaking the gatekeeping down to let more people in.
And I think to do that, we have to keep amplifying the voices, because like one of my favorite documentaries, and Tom Donahue did. He's actually a friend of mine, actually, because of this. He's an amazing. I think he's probably won Emmys and stuff. Many. He did. This is Everything, or it's the one about women in film, and the Gina Davis Institute partnered with him to make it. It was phenomenal. It blew up. It was an incredible documentary, and they used facts and numbers to show like how many minutes were women on the screen, how many minutes were men on the screen, and they proved it in the metrics that it's just not right. Something's off. So they went to all the big studios, and if you listened, and you could see like the movie Brave increased archery in girls in the United States by like 400%. Just that one movie. That just shows like how important that is to get other stories out too.
Yes.
And I think we are just so used to seeing some of the same things over and over again, seeing the new things. And when Thelma and Louise. When Thelma and Louise came out, that was a blockbuster hit. That was a wild. And they thought that would change everything because it was 2 female leads. Ridley Scott was like, fuck yeah, here we go. An incredible film. And they thought it was going to change everything. They really did at the time. And it did for a bit. And then we went right back to the same shit where it's not female-led, it's da-da-da-da. And I think I'm just hoping that this moment, I have hope, but I've also seen this happen where somebody makes a marker and a wave and the message is heard and we are amplifying that message, but we have to follow it up with actual things.
Yes.
So I just hope that we can do that as a society because we need to.
Right. And also, industry aside, I am a big fan of, and I feel like I say this a lot, making your own version of the industry.
Yes.
So like, yes, the movie studios, the TV production houses.
Oh yeah.
All of that,
across the board.
Important. We need them. Fine.
Sure.
But also creating your own thing has become so democratized that you can literally, like I said earlier, shoot something on your phone. Mm-hmm. Hire a friend, buy them lunch, pay them $100. Yeah. Bring a camera, shoot something for funsies.
It's so possible now.
Figure out how to edit it.
We have everything in these little.
We have everything we need.
Everything.
To do it ourselves. Now, to get it to the next level, that takes some money and some planning and festivals and all the other things. Mm-hmm. But it's not impossible, which is why we have our guest coming in here shortly.
Yes.
We're not going to say their name just yet, but we are going to talk about how we know them. So, Sarah, how do you know our guest?
So I met our guest through my director for Riding the D with Dr. Seeds. Love them. Really excited. Can't wait for them to be here. And we just really vibed immediately. Like this person is a very prolific, like independent filmmaker.
100%.
And we really got much closer when we were at the Catalyst Film Festival, which used to be called ITV Fest, and that's what it was called then, where this person was on a panel, kind of like doing the hosting, and they go, hey, the Dr. Seeds trailer is straight fire. Do you want me to feature that in my talk about, I think it was about certain being creative or like thinking outside the box or whatever. And I was like, yeah, take my trailer. It's wild. Absolutely play that. And all 3 studio people that were on stage, some big, some indie, but all the studios, they gave me meetings afterwards. And like that I had meetings when I went there, but some of these were really just like wow.
Big time, yeah.
And I just have always known this person to be someone who amplifies while also doing their own thing, which is something that I very much like to do. I like to do all the things that I'm doing and get my creativity out there, but I love to help. I love to work with others, and I love to amplify their voices. And that's how I met this person. And I met them through another magical being named Misha Calvert, who's now an executive at, I think, Fox Animation. And she's incredible. And she was the director of Dr. Seeds. Incredible. She got me one of the DPs from Amy Schumer, who's Seth Hagenstein, who's incredible also. How do you know this person?
You know, this person is one of those people that I just feel so, like, orbited around.
Yes.
Because I keep meeting people that we both know.
Oh, love that.
You are one of them.
Yep.
My good friend Taylor Coriel, who's also a brilliant writer.
Brillante.
Like indie, she eats, breathes, sleeps, dreams indie. And I don't think I remember an exact moment when we met. It's just one of those things that has been and always will be. But have always clocked them as a good person. Yeah. Love spending time with them. Admire the shit out of all the work that they do. And I just am, I love watching their journey. They're one of those people that I go to their Instagram on purpose to to see what they're doing. Yeah. Yeah.
There's very few people where I'm like, I wonder what they're doing literally right now.
Well, we're going to find out what they're doing because in a few minutes here, they are going to be in here.
Right here.
We're going to have them sit on my lap.
Yeah, we have no space for them. Yeah, no, so we're really excited. So you guys stay tuned after the jump.
We'll be right back.
You're so rich.
Pay me.
Oh my God, we're back.
So many backs.
Welcome back. And this is our new addition to our podcast studio here. Our fun and fabulous guest, Misha Calvert. And Sarah is going to kick us off introducing our wonderful guest.
Working that beret, Misha Calvert. What a great last name. My last name is Seeds. Love my name, but Calvert is like,
Thank you.
Regal.
Elevated.
Thank you so much.
We love.
Just wanted to say that.
I actually invented it.
You did?
It's Calvert, but I just started saying Calvert at some point in my 20s, and I don't know how my family feels about it. They never really said anything, which I think doesn't bode well. Yeah,
it's fine. It sounds great. That's
it's
all
like
we need.
Stephen Colbert.
Yeah.
Right. He's probably Stephen Colbert.
I think he really is. I think he literally
Colbert's terrible. Of course.
Colbert's terrible.
Yeah.
Ew.
Of course you would change it.
Well, I would change my name to Calvert any day of the week.
Any
Okay,
day.
so let's get married. Anyway, Misha has written, directed, produced, and starred in plays and movies both as a kid and as an adult. I'm sure as a teenager as well. Because of the lack of representation of women in director and writer positions, she's stuck with acting.
But as soon as Lena Dunham paved the way, Misha started creating her own work. What do we talk about on the show all the time? Creating your own work. Embodiment here. She has made dozens of shorts, 5 web series, and has sold a feature.
Wowee. Most notably, the series Strut, seen it. All Hail Beth, seen it. And is developing her feature Pink Flags, haven't seen it, obviously. As well as New Boo, Mr. Dharma, Penelope, Step Into My Office, seen that. Textual Intercourse, and Pee Sitting Down, also seen it.
Literally, I pee sitting down all the time. I talk about this.
So do I.
On nauseam, actually. I think it's a much more convenient way to be. Misha has also campaigned for an Emmy, Batty, and is well known in the New York City industry community or indie community by way of her acting school club Vermilion.
Work. Next, Misha is cracking into Hollywood to add a few zeros to her budgets. For
What
her
a rich bitch.
rich
Add
bag.
those zeros.
Oh, we love some zeros everywhere.
Misha, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. It's so great to see you, my friends.
I know.
It's so good to see you too. As we ask each other and any guest that comes on this show, how have you been a rich bitch recently?
I think one way that I'm able to say that I've been a rich bitch is applying for a job to direct something. And they were like, why are you the right person to direct this film? And I think they expected maybe like a light little, it just speaks to my heart, or, you know, I understand the material so well. I just bullet pointed. I was like, this, break. This, break. So it was like very, because I was a little, I didn't want to have to be writing that list, because I feel like people can go on IMDb and see why I'm the right person. You can watch my trailers. You could this, that.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was just like, this is why. And then, so I feel it was a very strong list. And reading over my accomplishments, I was just like, fuck, I'm impressing myself here.
Hell yeah.
And then I took it, copy paste, and sent it to another friend who had just told me that she had hired a director, soft hired. I looked at the director's stuff. I was like, that's not good. So I was like, hey, by the way, can I maybe just send you an email about this film? Worst you can do is throw it away. She's like, I would never throw your email away. I was like, well, here you go, send. Wow. And I just copy pasted the list of why I should direct your film. And I think I maybe got the other person fired. And me hired.
Well,
you know what? It's happens. Show business, not show friends, kids.
We already have friends like us.
We have friends. And everyone else is disposable.
No, I think that's great because we were talking about actually earlier about how we need to stay in the moment and also like realize what we've accomplished as human beings. Yeah. A lot of people, especially women, queer folks, we just sit around and we go, am I enough? Am I enough? And a mediocre dude in like wherever is like, oh, I'm enough. I'm already doing it. Yeah. Like, we need to give ourselves permission to be amazing because we already are. We already have it. And the fact that you had a list like that, that's everything.
Yeah. And, you know, sometimes that can go too far. I mean, we're in New York. LA is like there's a lot of that and a lot of it that's just not backed up. So I think as long as you can back it up either today or tomorrow, it doesn't have to be right now, but you know you can rise to the occasion. Go for it.
Receipts. Yeah.
New Yorkers love receipts. I mean, listen, as long as you can tell me anything. You can tell me anything and I'll believe it's true. But like I'm not going to actually believe it until you can show me. Like, show me what you've actually done. And I think New Yorkers are notorious for Googling people.
Yep.
I don't know if that happens. I can't speak to
background
LA.
checks, too.
Background checks. Oh, well.
Heck yeah.
Especially dating.
Don't check on me.
Correct.
Yeah. No, but me and Misha have been, on both coasts together, actually, and Vermont and other places. And I agree with you. And as somebody who's been out there a bunch, I know you have too. It's like there is an energy of like, I'll be at like a bar typing like a script or I have a meeting later or something and someone's like, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, cool. And you're like, let me Google them. And they're like, nothing. You know what I mean? It's just wild. Like they're somebody, but they don't do the things they say. And I think that's the great part about you is you really, your work ethic is impeccable.
Oh, thank you.
You know so many people, but I think it's because your work, A, speaks for itself and B, you put in the effort. And so you just not having the imposter syndrome, which we were talking about earlier, of it all, is having that list right in front of you and saying like, no, I've done this. I've done this and I've done this and I've done this. And like, it just gives you more abundance of things. And that is truly being a rich bitch.
Truly. You should print that list out and put it on your fridge.
I might. Yeah. I have my manifestation list above my desk.
Yep.
Goals. Put them side by side. Before and after.
Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So you're developing pink flags.
Yeah.
Which for those who are watching and or listening, was a short that Misha did that she's currently developing into a full feature. So what is Pink Flags about?
Yeah. It's the feature script of 3 that I have thought the least about recently, but it's also probably you know what? Fuck, maybe I should make that one instead. I'm about to go have investor meetings in about a week or 2. Oh, Edward, maybe I should be talking about that one instead because I want to raise like $1 million, which isn't even that much money for a feature. But I feel like the Pink Flags. Okay, well, I'll tell you what it's about, and you be the judge. Yeah. But the short film that I just shot, I wrote and directed it for my friends Ray and Sawyer Spielberg, and they're wonderful married couple. Yes, part of the family, Spielberg family.
I've heard of them. Yeah.
Yeah, they're. It's they're TikTok famous. It's never mind.
Got it.
But
so the Spielbergs of TikTok.
Yeah. So Ray has been a friend for a decade, and she's a really talented figure skater as well as an amazing actor. So I want to incorporate the figure skating somehow. She's like, just you write something and direct it, and we'll be in it. And I'm like, okay, great. Amazing. So I crafted this narrative around, and I should say it's the second draft of the what we shot was the second version of the story. The first one, to be honest, I was really trying to please them and write something that I thought that they would like. And it was only coming from that place, not from a me place at all. And it was terrible. I hated it. It was so bad. And I was like, why isn't this working? Oh, I hate it. After a while, like, oh, right, yeah.
Why is this? Oh, I hate it.
Yeah. And then I was in the shower where I truly do my best thinking. And
dude, that's so. We just said that. Yeah. Everything you're saying, we're like, we just literally incredible. Okay, sorry, keep going.
And then I was like, okay, well, just put it all aside and what would I want to make this movie about? Okay, but I just know it has to have figure skating and some comedy and some drama. Those are the requests. And I was like, gender-based violence on my mind all the time. So why don't I can talk about that. I could talk about what it's like to be afraid that you're being followed or you're being tracked or you're being controlled and how that affects your gaze of yourself. Like the male gaze becomes your gaze on yourself, and that is really damaging. So, and she's a figure skater. Stalk her at the ice rink. Done. Boom. So then crafting this whole short film, which we shot, and it's done now and off to hopefully Cannes and TIFF, and we're trying to get our first premiere. But the idea that she's this figure skater, she thinks that he's a stalker, but maybe she's just paranoid, and so she's wrestling with herself of like, is he that bad, or is he just kind of weird, or is he like, like a spectrum, or am I over exaggerating here? And then her friend being like, dude, he's like not that bad. I did a background check. Like he's just kind of weird, and maybe just a nice weird guy. And so the gaslighting from others and from ourselves to ourselves of like, maybe I'm just making a big deal out of nothing. And then I won't spoil it for you.
Please don't. And also though,
no spoilers.
That is so I know our female, presenting folks out there can definitely and anyone really, but I can really relate to this. I know we can. I think all the time, like, there's reasons why at night, like, I'm so happy that we go home together up to where we live. Also, like, we don't live together, everyone. It's chill. But
not yet. If Rink keeps going on, who knows?
You're moving in with me and Mike. But you know what I mean? Like, I think about that all the time. I actually remember an audition that was very harrowing, where I was on the way to an audition and a guy was totally following me, and I just had to duck into a deli and I almost missed my audition because he was totally following in broad daylight. Yeah. And I just hate stuff like that. And but people will be like, you're fine, it's date. Like, okay, but can we just?
As if shit doesn't go down during the day.
Yeah, can we just? But thank you for making something about that. I think that's really important. It is really important. I don't think it is.
Yeah, thank you. I hope so. And, it's pretty interesting to see the difference between some male viewers and basically every female viewer. And that's not to talk shit about guys, but I'm like, I thought it was pretty obvious.
But talk shit about them. Go ahead. It's fine.
I thought it was pretty obvious that something is up. Yeah. And not just like a couple of guys been like, oh, it's just about how a woman can be totally crazy in the end.
Love that.
Wow, it's very much not about that. Thank you. Thank you for misunderstanding the entire plot.
Love that. Love that. But it's like when people watch Promising Young Woman and their feedback. Yeah. Can't even. Anyway, keep going.
Oof.
So we made the film, and it's a very beautiful film. We got the Panavision New Filmmaker grant to shoot it.
Nice.
So it looks primo, and just turning that into a longer version of it.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Yeah.
You said that it was kind of 3 things rolled into one, or they were inspired by 3 other projects that you were doing?
I'm writing 2 other features.
You're writing 2 others.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about
That's
those?
why these bags are, extra.
You look beautiful.
Extra dark
listen. Don't worry. So when you write, I would love to ask you about your writing process, because I write as well. Yeah. I don't think as prolifically as you do. But when you say you're writing 3 things, are they all interconnected? Do you like to write in 3s? Like what's that number? Like why?
Oh gosh,
why is that happening? I love that.
I don't know why is that happening. That's when I wake up screaming.
Why?
It's no particular reason. I had been working on the newest one is probably the one that lights me up the most.
Great.
It's huge. It's like a 20 to 40, mil.
Yeah,
but it's a climate change action film.
Ooh,
okay.
Work.
The world's out of clean water. There's been so many wars, and it's not that far in the future, 2050 in the script. But
I was going to say it's
next week.
A predictive film.
I know, Civil War, the documentary. You guys excited for that?
Oh, no! No, leave right now.
Too soon.
Yeah,
too
truly.
soon. Right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one is a bit further in the future, and there's just not very many humans left. So this girl, teenager, she's born female, but also when you're born kind of after all of the major wars, if you're a refugee kind of hiding out, gender is much less relevant. So she's pretty much non-binary, although she doesn't really talk about it. And that's also not a big part of the script. It doesn't really matter, except that she learns along the way. Like she gets her period as she's wandering through, on this quest through the forest. And this woman she's traveling with is like, oh, this is amazing. Like you can have children. Most people can't anymore. And she's like, what? Like, I'm just bleeding. This sucks.
It hurts. Like I fucking hate it. Like when I got my first
stop.
Yeah.
I remember asking my mom, I was like, is this for real? Like, is this really what's going to happen to me the rest of my life? She's like, well, not for the rest, but
similar.
Life.
Yeah. But really it's about trying to find her family and it was for me the personal connection of trying to reconnect to my family this past year and how sad that's been and hard and also hopeful. And then just the sheer terror of what's happening to the climate. I don't think needs any explanation for that.
Right. Self-explanatory.
Oh, yeah. Say it again.
I keep seeing these people like interrupting theater performances. And it's just like, you guys this is the wrong audience for you.
Yeah.
We know. We're doing things about it. Like,
Yeah.
Go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go to the monster truck rally and just be like, hey.
Oh
Although
my
those
God.
are fun. But
go
just go,
to Teterboro and go lay on the runway. Like, that's,
for real. That's where you go.
So if any of you are climate activists that have been interrupting shows on Broadway, please go to Teterboro.
Give them a map. Yeah. Where is
It's
that?
in New Jersey. Lay
Okay.
on the runway. It's a private jet airport. It's self-explanatory. Private jet
good.
airport in New Jersey.
Do it.
Cool.
Yeah. It's like when the U.S. Open, they were like, only the female Coco Gauff, who's a baddie. I was at the U.S.
Love
Open.
her.
They were so tired. Everyone's getting heat stroke. I mean, because of the climate.
It's not funny.
It's not, but really, it's ironic that like we're like climate, and then everyone's like, "What? It's never been this hot." I'm like, "Yeah." Anyway, as they're playing tennis, Coco's like losing a lot of sweat, blah blah blah, and then those climate activists came in. There were like 4 of them, and they kept saying things as she was about to think, and she's working her whole life to be here. It's the female pinnacle. I'm like, Coco's not taking her. Like, I get that they had a bigger audience for the U.S. Open, but all it did was probably make people go, you know what? Fuck that Earth. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, there is the level of that where it's just like, shut up. Like, this isn't how this is done.
Yeah, let's do a story.
Like all 3 of us are obviously like pro environment. Let's get that going. But anyway, film about it is important, as we saw with the Obama film that he did. What was that called again?
Can't remember.
Everything Everywhere at All. Nope, not that. Not that one.
How dare you? What is going on today?
Listen, this is what happens when we film late. I'm like, I've
Also,
had a whole
Al
day at work.
Gore's movie.
Al Gore,
Yeah, him
for
too.
sure.
100%. He was the OG.
Yeah.
He was
The
the OG
OG.
at this. So when you're finished with any particular project, like one of these that we're talking about or any of them, what is kind of like the after post for you? Like, let's say post is over, you have the finished product.
Yeah.
What do you do?
With a short film?
With anything.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't directed a feature yet, so I can't speak to that. But their features it's a different model, so it would be much easier to sell a feature.
Mm-hmm.
There's a kind of a built-in monetization for what to do with that. It's also a much
Right.
bigger investment of time and money, so it's theoretically just worth more.
Mm-hmm.
With short films, you can sometimes sell them. I've sold one to Reverie and 2 short form series. So you don't get a ton of money for that, but I guess, like, to back up for a second, you want as big and splashy a premiere as possible, because you'll never probably have more eyes than when you're premiering at a major film festival.
Facts.
It's like the spike in your, publicity rating.
Your metrics.
Yes. So you want as big a premiere as you can possibly get. And then it's like a roller coaster. Like the first hill is the biggest. And then maybe you get another premiere that's like a little less good, but still really good. And then little ones for about 2 years, 1 to 2 years. And try and get as many people excited about it as possible before you become slowly irrelevant. And then hopefully by the end of that run, you get a distribution deal, either
Right.
for free or for a small licensing fee or AVOD or whatever residuals. And then you just let it live on a platform.
Yeah. And it's forever, which I love about film. It's just there forever. Like,
Yeah, I mean, unless Amazon changes their laws and then
ha ha ha.
it's not forever.
Yeah, story of my life.
LOL.
LOL.
Do you find that, and maybe this is just kind of like a moot point in conversation about this, because everything has become so democratized. We talked about this earlier with like being able to create with an iPhone.
Yeah.
Not that that's the pinnacle of quality that you want, but it's become so accessible to do this. Do you find that like being centered out of New York is more beneficial for that kind of thing, to like sell a short, to get any kind of market going for a project that you're working on, or is LA really still the place to be?
Well, I haven't lived in LA. I don't really have an interest in that right now. I don't know what I don't know. So it might be easier to sell there. What I do know is that it's easier for me to make here.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't have the favor system network out there. And I find it very easy to make things out here. I think people charge less out here.
Yeah.
And
The community seems more, especially in the indie
Centralized.
sphere, it's like very,
Oh yeah.
like we're all together. Like I feel like everybody knows somebody who knows. You do know what I mean? Like we've even said tonight, like how we met you, totally different ways, but yet you're in our orbit, right? And we're in yours. I feel like there's like some sort of community that really is alive and vibrant in this city if you seek it.
Well, and the thing that you said about like the favor network. Oh my God.
God.
Like what a godsend.
yeah.
And one of the things that I realized, not necessarily related to film and television per se, but like every piece of work that I've had that was like a non-acting job or a non-creative job has 100% come from people that I was like, hey guys, I'm looking for work. This is what I want to do. Or, hey, do you know someone who can help me? 100% of the time. And I feel like New York runs on favors.
Yeah.
And that is true across all industries.
Yeah, I think LA also runs on favors, but I just think people are slower and lazier there.
Work. Wow.
Listen,
Like you
we've
really
said
feel
before, New
work.
Yorkers love a deadline.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just all manic and insane.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like we're all insane, but but we get it done.
I live for it.
You're right though, because even when we were pitching,
LA is weed, New York is coke.
sure.
And you know what? That totally tracks for the work ethic.
There you go. Yeah, no, I found too, like when I'm pitching in like LA versus like pitching in New York or like whatever, it's like we're early in New York. Everybody's on time. And then in LA, it's like, yeah, they'll be here in a second. Coachella was last weekend. So, you know,
Like,
that
they're
happens
still
a lot.
So
recovering.
weird to me.
It is
Yeah.
so weird to me. I mean, I won't say the name, but it was one of the big, those 3-letter ones. And I'm sitting there and like, I'm like, this guy's still not here? And they're like, yeah, Coachella was like blah, blah, blah days ago. I'm like,
If they even said the word Coachella, I'm just gonna
yeah, I was sort of like,
Just
laugh.
gonna go.
I just
leave. Take
yeah,
my
it was
water
almost
bottle
like
and
I was
leave.
almost like curious about how this was gonna go, and it went exactly what you would think.
Exactly
so,
how I thought. Yeah.
he was
Did he
high.
have like the beaded bracelet?
Of course, absolutely,
Like 3
and he
of
was
them.
telling me about something. I was like, great.
Like his like hyperbaric chamber.
yes, exactly.
You're
Have
like,
you-
cool man, so
but it's the perfect intro for the game that we're
Yes.
gonna play with you.
Since
Oh
we're
my
at our
God.
final,
So-
our final 10 minutes
Wow.
for our star.
So
needs to
this
go,
game is called East Coast, West Coast. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to name a random ass actor.
Yep.
And you are going to deduce whether or not they live in New York City.
okay, or LA.
Or
Or
LA.
LA.
Yes.
Yeah, East Coast, West
East
Coast.
Coast, West Coast.
Is there ever anyone that has a house on both?
We will leave that up to your decision.
Copy
Yeah.
that.
Because you could be right. You could be right.
Okay.
Okay,
First, Jerry Seinfeld.
easy softball.
He lives in New York.
Absolutely.
Ding, 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 ding.
Okay.
Mariah Carey.
I'm gonna say LA.
Bah, she's
New
not New
York.
Yorker. She's from Long Island. Denzel Washington.
LA.
Also New York.
I lose.
You're fine. No,
Wait,
Everyone
we have
wins
we have
here.
a series of good ones though.
Yeah, we have some.
Lady Gaga.
Oh, New York.
Absolutely.
absolutely. Here's another softball. Sarah Jessica Parker.
New York. In the West Village.
You got
Correct.
that right.
Correct. Bonus points for that. Tina Fey.
Her manager's in New York, so I'm gonna say New York.
That is
Right.
correct.
She's actually in the Upper West Side. I've seen her. It's really sorry. We're outing everyone where they live. Great. Matt Damon. And it's not Boston.
Well,
It was.
he was living in Ireland for a while he was shooting a movie, but I'm gonna say LA.
Nope. New York.
God damn it.
Meryl Streep.
New York.
Absolutely.
Great. Peter Dinklage.
New York.
Absolutely.
Correct. Gigi Hadid.
New York, I think.
Yep,
Right.
that is correct.
Kristen Stewart.
Well, I would think LA, but
She's actually a New Yorker now.
Oh, is this a trick game?
It is.
Maybe.
You caught on.
John Leguizamo.
New York.
Absolutely, from Queens.
Lucy Liu.
New York.
Great! Oh my God! And
Also
finally,
from Queens, I think.
finally, our big finale.
Our big finale, Enya.
Enya.
Is she alive?
That was not the answer I
That
was
is the
expecting.
perfect response, though.
So the correct answer
The correct
is
answer
she is
actually
alive.
she lives in Manderley in a castle in Ireland
Oh yeah.
by herself with a billion cats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just wanted a finale.
She's a
with
hermit.
her.
We wanted a big thing.
No, I was gonna say, like, doesn't she live like in the Shire or something?
She's like
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a hermit.
Basically, she's living my fantasy
I
eventually.
mean,
She's our fantasy.
Can we all aspire to be?
Yeah.
I
Enya?
want to be in a castle with tons of cats and just be like,
Yeah,
just like shut
wandering
them.
the halls, wringing your hands.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Yeah.
that's how I hope to retire.
I do that in my one bedroom. It's just not the same.
I love.
Are you at the same? I'm not gonna say where. Are you at the same place still? I love that spot.
Yeah.
It's so quirky and cool.
It's
I
so
don't know.
cool.
Yeah.
It's very New York.
I loved it. I'm
Yeah.
sorry I missed your fun party.
There'll
I
be
was in
more.
Greece,
There'll be
but
so
I
more.
will be at the next one if you invite me, of course.
Obviously.
Yes. Also,
I know.
Also, really quick game disclaimer. Most of these people are probably bi-coastal and,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
have
we just
places
made
all
it
over the world, so
yours.
we just picked the ones that are from
Yeah,
New York. And
Gaga
probably
definitely
stay.
has a house.
She does.
in LA.
Oh,
Well, that's
100%.
where her
Dog
dog
is still-
walker.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway,
That's what she said. She was like, the dog walker was in LA, so maybe.
that was my response. Well, I love that we're always on the same wavelength, Misha. I love that your answer to Enya was, "Is she alive?" Everything about you is just a delight, and we're so happy to have you. Like, thank you for coming.
I don't want it to
truly,
end.
Thank you so much.
I know.
I have more
Well,
questions.
you
I know.
have a deadline, and we gotta, but
Well, I will have one more question for
please,
you.
Yes, sir.
always.
Will you come back to Rich Bitch sometime
Oh
soon?
my God, yes.
Yay!
Yeah, because I want to hear about your money-making ventures and how you're, I will say my intersection of what I do with Vermilion and my clients and helping them transform their careers.
Oh, yeah,
The
let's talk about that.
intersection for Rich Bitch is that you have to start to live in the mindset of abundance. And that sounds like a little trope or like a
Woo-woo.
meme or whatever.
Yeah.
But really it's about taking responsibility
Yes.
and saying, okay, I may have some limiting beliefs or I may have come from nothing like
we just talked about this.
me. I came from nothing,
Yeah.
You think you got it fucking hard, try living without running water or
Dang.
electricity or heat for your, like when you're in high school. Like that's brutal. How do you come
Wild.
back from that? Well, you fucking do. Why? Because you want to be rich. You want freedom. You want energy. You want movement and power and be able to take your own career into your hands.
Yes.
So I think for me, that is where what we're what all three of us are doing is the same.
Yes, I agree
Agreed.
entirely.
100%.
Yeah, well, that's why we wanted you on because, we
Such
wanna,
a baddie.
such a baddie, and we also want to make sure that we're having people on that, just like us, came from somewhere, not here,
Not here.
had big dreams, are literally doing it, and you are the embodiment of that. So we are just so pleased for you.
Yeah.
Check
Thank
out Club Vermilion. It's dope. I know a couple-
Clubvermillion.com.
That's it.
Yep.
And where can people find you?
Oh yeah, I love
On
to
search.
connect. I'm super easy to find on Instagram, Misha Calvert. There's a T on the end of that as per our discussion.
Oh yeah, don't worry. Your name will be on the. We'll figure it out. We'll have your name in all those. Socials.
Yeah.
You'll be in all the notes.
Yeah, please drop me a DM. I'd love to connect or, you have questions about the industry. I love talking to people. So
Great. We love that.
We love talking to you.
What a rich bitch.
Thank you so much for joining us. And we'll see you guys in the
Thank
next
you.
episode of I Want to Be a Rich Bitch. Put the money on the table.
Put the money on the table.
That's a cut, Cory.
I wanna be a rich bitch. Penthouse store man, money, 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 rich bitch. Hey, give me that bag, rich bitch.
You're so rich.
Pay me.